Okay, so some people are having trouble getting started with the assignment where we are doing a narrative right for the drummer boy of Shiloh. And so I wanted to take some time to review that for any students who may be having some difficulty. I've just realized that this deadline has been extended an additional week. So it's due this Friday. And all the materials that you need are pretty much all in one place where it says Drummer Boy of Shiloh Student Right. Now, the instructions are listed there as well. It says you've read the story, The Drummer Boy of Shiloh. The story is set during the bloody and contentious American Civil War. In The Drummer Boy of Shiloh, we are introduced to Joby, who is fearful the night before a Civil War era battle. He is comforted by the general, who reveals his own fears and encourages Joby about his importance in the upcoming battle. However, the story ends before the audience learns the outcome of the battle. Write a narrative that continues the story into the next day and the actual battle. Be sure to maintain the style and tone of the original author in your writing. And you're encouraged to use your knowledge of the text, have interactions between the characters, use of dialogue, conflict development and resolution, and of course, use of the five senses. So you, of course, were supposed to have read the story, and we're saying that the story ends prematurely. There's no battle, there's no fight. And this is a very bloody battle, so you should research this battle, which is, of course, the Battle of Shiloh. Now, if you haven't read it by now, you should probably just listen to the audio because you need to catch up and get up to speed. So bring some headphones to school, or borrow the headphones at the front of the class, or listen to this at home. But you gotta catch up and get this assignment done. Now, the next step is to, of course, plan out your conflicts. You don't have a story unless you have conflict. Conflict, of course, is rising action. And we've used this diagram countless times, so this should be no surprise to you. Now, when you get to your own version of this, you simply have to double click on these boxes and add in and type your own text. When you do so, unfortunately, it resizes the boxes, so you can just put them back the way they were, but you should be in good shape. And it's conflicts 5 through 9 that you need to fill in for your own Freytag's triangle. Now, you have a special document that has been created for you. It starts off with the last 2 paragraphs of The Drummer Boy of Shiloh as they were left, and you need to continue the story. Do not write in red text. That was just to remind you that this is the leftovers from the end of the story. And you want to continue your story right underneath here. And it should be about 3 pages long. Now, here's the rubric. You want to make sure there's lots of conflict. So when we say that, we want to have lots of twists and turns in the story. And we just want to increase the drama with rising action. We need a climax, we need falling action, and we need a resolution. Characterization comes through via colorful dialogue. So make sure that you are, making the people's words very characteristic of a particular individual. Think of the movie Stand By Me and some of the things that the kids said. You want to have literary devices, imagery, personification, flashbacks, foreshadowing, metaphors, dramatic irony, and other artistic devices. You want to earn some points for this category on the rubric. You have to have all the parts of a story: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action. Of course, the exposition has already been addressed. We're in the Civil War, right? And it's the Battle of Shiloh. We also have some rising action, like Joby crying and meeting the general and the general comforting him. But you have to continue the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. And you want to stay in the third person. You want to stay in the past tense, because that's how the story began. Now, of course, I gave you my own version of the story. So stop being so shy. I show you how I would have approached this assignment if I did it. And keep in mind, you have an entire week to do this. You've already had a full week. Now you have a second week on this assignment. So there's no excuse for it not to be beautiful, to be interesting, to be dynamic. Take some pride in your work. I'm going to read your stories carefully. If you are having trouble relating to the idea of the drummer boy, it's himself, you need to understand that this was a real thing, that kids were part of the Civil War, and they had a difficult time fitting in. So there's an interesting article about drummer boys and boys that were on battleships in the Navy. So take a look at this article. Now, you should know, you may say, well, I can't relate to this war stuff. There's a war going on right now with Russia and Ukraine, and everyday citizens are picking up arms. So the Ukrainian people are filling wine bottles with fuel and creating Molotov cocktails to fight back the Russian military. It's pretty impressive, and it's just like what happened during the Civil War. So you should be able to relate to some of these things because it's happening right now in real life, even though it's not on our soil. Now, there's a video to show you how to punctuate dialogue. It's 4 minutes long. Some people said that it's not accessible at school via YouTube. You can't get to YouTube. Fine, then watch the 4-minute video on your phone or watch it at home. But you do have to make sure you're punctuating dialogue correctly. Now, if you are among the few who have finished this assignment already, congratulations. You want to do iReady for 30 minutes each day, and then read a book. Read a book that's on the shelves in the classroom, read a book that's on your phone, but make sure you're continuing to build your Lexile score, and you're going to do that with iReady and independent reading. But you do have to invest in this assignment and understand that everything is really in one place. So it shouldn't be too hard for you to get this assignment done in the span of a week. Make sure, of course, however, that you're doing it in this document. And I would ask a friend in the classroom who's had success on this project to tutor you if you're having some trouble. All right, good luck, and I look forward truly to reading your stories.